November 22, 1963. 12:38 p.m. Parkland Hospital, Dallas. The presidential limousine, a 1961 Lincoln Continental, codename SS-100X, screeched to a stop at the emergency entrance. Inside, President Kennedy, mortally wounded. Governor John Connally, also shot. Jackie Kennedy, still cradling her husband's shattered head, and the entire back seat covered in blood, brain matter, and bone fragments. This wasn't just a car. It was a crime scene, the most important crime scene in American history. Standard procedure: secure it, photograph it, document every bloodstain, every bullet fragment, every piece of evidence. Let forensic experts analyze the blood spatter patterns to determine the trajectory of bullets. Preserve it exactly as it was, untouched, uncontaminated, for investigation. That's what should have happened. But within minutes, while doctors fought to save Kennedy's life inside, Secret Service agents outside grabbed buckets, sponges, and water hoses, and they washed the car. Blood evidence down the drain, bone fragments swept away, ballistic patterns destroyed. The single most crucial piece of physical evidence in the assassination deliberately cleaned before any proper forensic examination. If you want to understand why the limousine that could have proven a conspiracy was scrubbed clean, rebuilt, and put back into service before investigators could properly examine it, hit that like button. Because this wasn't an accident. This was evidence destruction, and it happened in plain sight. The presidential limousine was a rolling crime scene, and what it contained could have solved the assassination. Blood spatter patterns on the seats, dashboard, and trunk would reveal the angle and direction of gunfire. High-velocity blood spray indicates entry wounds. Low velocity indicates exit wounds. The distribution pattern would show whether shots came from behind, the book depository, or from the front, the grassy knoll. Bone and brain fragments scattered across the vehicle would provide tissue for forensic analysis. Bullet fragments embedded in upholstery or metal could be matched to weapons. Fingerprints on the chrome, steering wheel, or door handles might identify who touched the car besides the occupants and driver. Even the windshield was critical evidence. It had been struck, either by a bullet or a fragment. The damage pattern would indicate direction of impact, from inside or outside, from above or below. All of this evidence existed for approximately 30 minutes. Then, Secret Service agents destroyed it. According to multiple witnesses, including Dallas police officers and hospital staff, Secret Service agents began washing the limousine while Kennedy was still alive. Photographer Wilma Tice was at Parkland Hospital. She photographed Secret Service agents installing the hard-shell bubble top onto the convertible, the protective covering normally stored in the trunk. Then she saw them cleaning. Some agents also used buckets and sponges to begin cleaning the interior of the car, according to official records at the 6th Floor Museum. Agent Sam Kinney later claimed he cleaned the blood-soaked rear seats. His explanation? "I thought it would upset Mrs. Kennedy to see it." That's the official story. A grieving agent, overcome with emotion, decided to spare Jackie Kennedy further trauma by washing away her husband's blood and brain matter. Touching, except completely insane from an evidentiary standpoint. This wasn't Kinney's personal vehicle. This was evidence in a presidential assassination. Even a rookie cop knows you don't touch the crime scene. But they didn't just wipe down surfaces. According to reports, they used water hoses, buckets, sponges. They scrubbed the leather seats, rinsed blood down storm drains, removed tissue samples that forensic pathologists desperately needed. By the time Kennedy was pronounced dead at 1 p.m., the most critical forensic evidence was already gone. At approximately 2 p.m., the limousine was loaded onto a C-130 military transport and flown to Andrews Air Force Base near Washington, D.C. Not to an FBI laboratory, not to independent forensic experts, to the Secret Service garage. There, under the supervision of Secret Service Director James Rowley, the vehicle sat for a month. Investigators examined it, but the damage was done. The blood evidence was already destroyed. The cleaning at Parkland had eliminated the most valuable forensic data. Still, some evidence remained. The windshield, struck by a bullet or fragment, was removed and became Warren Commission Exhibit CE 350. Bullet fragments were recovered from the floorboards and seats. But critical questions remained unanswered. Where exactly did the shots originate? How many shooters were there? What was the sequence of impacts? The blood spatter analysis that could have answered these questions was washing through Dallas sewers. On December 20th, 1963, less than a month after the assassination, the limousine was driven to Hess and Eisenhardt in Cincinnati, Ohio, the same company that had originally customized it for presidential use. The order: rebuild it, make it bulletproof, return it to service. What followed was the most extensive vehicle modification in Secret Service history. Code name: Quick Fix. The entire interior was gutted, seats removed, carpets torn out, metal panels stripped. The car was reduced to its frame, then rebuilt from scratch. 1,600 pounds of titanium armor, plating added to the body, permanent bulletproof hard-shell roof installed, all glass replaced with bullet-resistant material capable of stopping .30 caliber rifle rounds, engine replaced with a high-compression unit providing 17% more power, run-flat tires installed. The midnight blue paint changed to somber black. Cost over $500,000 in 1964 dollars, approximately $5 million today. By May 1st, 1964, just over 5 months after the assassination, the rebuilt limousine was ready. Final testing in Dearborn, Michigan, then delivered to the White House. And on October 5th, 1964, President Lyndon Johnson used it. The same car. In a parade through Washington, D.C., the same vehicle in which Kennedy had been murdered, now rebuilt, repainted, and returned to service. Why destroy evidence? Why rebuild the limousine instead of preserving it as the most important artifact in the investigation? The official explanation: economics and logistics. Building a new custom presidential limousine would take years and cost millions. Faster and cheaper to rebuild the existing one. But that explanation doesn't hold up, because if you're going to rebuild it anyway, stripping it to the frame, replacing 80% of the vehicle, you've essentially built a new car. The cost difference is negligible. The real reason: evidence destruction. Consider what the limousine could have proven. The windshield damage, multiple witnesses, including police officers and Parkland Hospital staff, reported seeing a bullet hole in the windshield, from the front, an entry hole, not an exit. That's impossible if all shots came from behind, the book depository. But it's consistent with a shooter on the grassy knoll. The windshield was removed, cataloged as evidence, and the hole was never definitively explained. Some claimed it was a fragment exiting from inside. Others insisted it was a bullet entering from outside. We'll never know, because the windshield, along with the rest of the vehicle, was destroyed in the rebuild. The blood spatter, high-velocity blood spray patterns would have shown the direction and angle of bullet impacts. Forensic analysis could have determined whether shots came from one direction or multiple directions. That analysis never happened, because the blood was washed away at Parkland Hospital. The bullet fragments, some were recovered, but how many were lost in the cleaning? How many went down the drain with the blood and tissue? The upholstery, bullet holes in seats and carpets would show trajectories, but the entire interior was gutted and replaced, every piece of critical evidence systematically destroyed. Not everyone stayed silent about the destruction. Dallas County Medical Examiner Dr. Earl Rose tried to stop the Secret Service from removing Kennedy's body from Dallas. Texas law required an autopsy be performed locally in any homicide. Rose demanded they follow the law. Secret Service agent Roy Kellerman drew his weapon. "We are removing the body." They did. By force, in violation of Texas law. The same agents who illegally seized Kennedy's body also destroyed evidence in the limousine. Same pattern, same disregard for proper procedure, same determination to control the investigation. Dallas Police Chief Jesse Curry later expressed frustration about Secret Service interference. In his memoir, Curry wrote that Dallas police were prevented from conducting a proper investigation. The federal government, specifically the Secret Service and FBI, took over immediately, and evidence began disappearing. Today, the Kennedy Limousine sits in the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. Donated by Ford Motor Company in 1977 after the car was finally retired from service. Visitors can see it, photograph it, walk around it, but what they're seeing isn't the car from November 22, 1963. It's a heavily modified reconstruction. The original seats, gone. The original carpets, gone. The original paint, gone. The blood evidence washed away 60 years ago. The museum describes it as President John F. Kennedy's assassination car. Technically true, but misleading. It's the car associated with the assassination, not the car as it was during the assassination. That car, the actual crime scene, was systematically destroyed within weeks of Kennedy's death. Why wash the limousine before proper forensic examination? Why rebuild it instead of preserving it as evidence? Why rush it back into service while the investigation was ongoing? The official answers don't make sense, but the pattern does. Control the evidence, control the investigation, control the narrative. The limousine could have proven whether shots came from multiple directions, whether there were multiple shooters, whether the grassy knoll witnesses were telling the truth. Instead, it was washed, gutted, rebuilt, and returned to service. The Warren Commission concluded Oswald acted alone, 3 shots from behind, no conspiracy. But the evidence that could have challenged that conclusion was gone, deliberately destroyed. So ask yourself, do you think the limousine was washed to spare Jackie Kennedy's feelings or to destroy evidence of a conspiracy? Let us know in the comments. Because evidence doesn't disappear by accident. It disappears when someone powerful wants it gone. And on November 22, 1963, the most important evidence in American history washed down a Dallas storm drain. If you believe the truth deserves to be heard, hit that like button and subscribe. Remember, when they control the evidence, they control the truth.